Hey, welcome back to the Bound by Art podcast. I'm Missi Blue, tattoo artist, business owner, and your guide to navigating the chaos that is the tattoo industry. If you're an artist looking to grow your business, attract the right clients, and learn how to survive this career without losing your damn mind, then you are in the right place. Every week, I'll be bringing real talk, actionable tips, and hard-earned lessons from my own journey with a side of good vibes and a little bit of sarcasm. Whether you're new to the game, feeling stuck, or you just need a kick in the ass to get that spark back again, this is the show for you. Welcome to Bound by Art. Now let's get to work. Today's episode is all about how to streamline your booking process. It can be incredibly overwhelming and time-consuming and messy, but I promise you, it doesn't have to be this hard. This episode is not necessarily just for tattoo artists, so if you're any kind of service provider, keep listening because this can apply to you as well. If you're overwhelmed, if you're drowning in messages, if you have more requests than you feel like you can handle, and people are falling through the cracks, and you feel like you're spending more time messaging back and forth than doing the actual service that you provide, you can't keep up. You wish that you could just focus on what you do and not deal with the booking part of things. And I like to tell people to at least be 3 months booked, like 3 months solid booked before you try to implement this type of process. If you're not to this point yet, if you're not this person yet, you should listen either way because you're going to know when you are to this point and you're going to recognize that you're there and you're going to have a plan in mind to kind of avoid the messy, overwhelmed part of this type of process when I got to that point and before it got messy, but I did not, and that's why I'm sharing this with you, so hopefully you guys can just skip that part of it and get right to the easy part. So back before I started using this process, I used to just keep my books open all the time, which meant I was getting messages all the time. During the day, in the middle of the night, I'm at the grocery store, I'm trying to hang out with my family, I'm getting messages, and I'm trying to respond to them, and I would respond to somebody on Monday, and then maybe I'd hear back by Wednesday, and then I wouldn't get the message right away, and I would respond back on Friday, and then they would respond back on the following Monday, and it was just like such a long, drawn-out process. If they even made it through to the point where we actually pick a day and book them, I was lucky. So people were constantly falling through the cracks. I was double booking myself all the time. I would give really short, quick answers because I was busy doing other things, and that comes across as rude. And I'm sure that I lost countless clients because of that. I would forget to get deposits, and that would end up in people no-showing me because they think that they didn't have the appointment because they never actually sent the deposit. There's no like real solid communication. So it was a mess, and it was also letting in the wrong people. So if you haven't figured this out by now, the busier you are, the more requests you get, the more obstacles you want to put in front of people, the more hoops you want them to jump through, because it starts to funnel out the people who aren't serious, and it starts to kind of whittle it down to your ideal clients. The less busy you are, the less obstacles you want to have in front of them. So if you're looking to book more people and you have a really lengthy booking process, you probably want to take some of those steps out just to make it more accessible to more people. So what made me change over to this process, besides all of the above? COVID, honestly. So before COVID, I was booked out about 9 months, and I had to then reschedule 9 months of appointments. So we were shut down for 3 months straight, and not knowing when we were going to come back to work. And when I finally got the word that I could go back to work, then it was like, okay, let me reschedule everyone. And everyone meant I was messaging around, 200 plus people and trying to find them new dates that work for them. It was an absolute nightmare. So I never wanted to do that again. So the biggest change that I made was only booking 3 months and stopping. Like I booked everyone that already had an appointment. I rebooked all of them, and then I closed my books and I wasn't taking any more appointments. And once I got down to the point where I only had 3 months scheduled, I let everyone know I'm going to start booking again soon, and I'm only booking 3 months, and then I'm stopping. So I'm only going to be able to take this many appointments for this many days for these specific months, and that's it. So I would schedule a booking day. When I've seen a lot of people do like their books open and they just kind of leave it open for a week at a time, 2 weeks at a time, and just collect all of these requests. But I didn't want to fuck with that because it felt like the same thing I was doing before that I wanted to avoid. So instead, I was just like, I'm going to do one day. I'm going to do from this time to this time, I'm collecting requests, and then that's it. And then I'm not taking any more. I'm going to deal with those, schedule those people, and that's it. And if you miss the day, you miss the day. Sorry, like try again next time. So some bonuses that I didn't even know or think about when I started this was that this type of booking creates scarcity, which makes people want it more because it's like a mad rush to put their request in. So they know like I have to put it in this date or I'm not going to get in for these 3 months. And I think when your books are always open, they're just like, I'm going to get to it later. There's no real rush. There's no real sense of urgency for them to put that request in. And it's always kind of on the back burner. Like I'll get to it. I'll do it later. And it really forces people to make a move. It makes it an exciting event for them also. So people will get excited to count down to the day. This one year, we actually did our booking day on New Year's Day. And back then we would do like midnight to midnight. So literal like New Year's Day, like midnight, people were counting down, not to New Year's Day, but to our booking day, which was really funny. And people were really excited about it. But the problem with that one was people were drunk and putting in their requests drunk, and we didn't get the best. Like people would forget that they put requests in and it wouldn't make sense. Like their description was making no sense because they're fucking texting drunk. So it wasn't the best idea. We don't do that anymore, but it was also a pain in the ass because we had to like turn the website on and off at midnight, which meant we had to be awake at midnight. So I don't do that anymore. So now I do 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. It's like a normal work day. I can turn it on, turn it off when I'm awake, and it works for most people. I also do it on a Sunday so that more people are off work and I'm not doing it while I'm trying to tattoo. I'm not, I'll get into that later, but so I kind of changed the way that I do it, but it does create this excitement around the day. And it creates this exclusivity where more people are willing to jump through the hoops to get the appointment because they've been waiting for your books to open and they're excited about it and they know this is the only way that they're going to get an appointment. So they have to put in the work and they have to do all of these things or they're not going to get in. And it kind of weeds out the people who aren't a good fit because the people that are just wanting that quick tattoo and that impulse tattoo, they're not going to jump through all of these hoops. They're not going to do all of these things. They're just going to go where it's easy and fast. And it allows people time to get to know you before they submit their idea. And it allows you to curate your future schedule with tattoos that you want to do by letting your clients know and letting your followers online know what you like to do, what you don't like to do. You can do flash drops. You can do a wish list. So people, once they're putting in their requests, are putting in requests for things that you actually want to do. Before I get too deep into this, I want to make this episode more of a workshop than me just like babbling at you. So I do want to mention that I have a whole workbook to go along with today's episode. So if you pause right here and go to boundbyart.com/booking guide, you can download my online booking guide for free. It includes this entire step-by-step process that I'm about to teach you and some super helpful templates that you can use exactly as they are, or you can tweak them to fit your own needs. Again, just go to boundbyart.com/booking guide to download that. And I'm not in any way claiming that this is the best way to do appointments. I'm sure there's others out there that are doing it way differently, and that's working for them. This is not the only solution. This is just my solution and what works best for me. So if I can spare you any of the suffering that I've had to endure my entire career over booking appointments, I'd really like to do that for you. I've been doing this for 21 years now, so I've changed a lot of the ways that I do things along the way, and I may even change some in the future. I'm always fine-tuning and improving on things, so I can almost guarantee that. But I'm also always updating the booking guide, so no matter if you're downloading this now or way in the future of when this is created, the booking guide will still have my most up-to-date information for you. So what does my booking process look like currently? I'm going to take you through step by step on how I'm handling everything. So step one is getting everything set up first. So first of all, I have a website, a landing page. Do you need one? No, technically you can skip this step if you really don't want to have one, but is it a good idea to have one? Yes. It makes you look like a legitimate business. Have you ever looked up a business and the only thing that you can find on them is like a Facebook page or their Instagram? That kind of makes you feel a little hesitant to give them your money, right? I know for me personally, I always kind of question, are they an actual business? Like, what is this that I'm looking at? If you're about to make your future clients jump through all these hoops, they're going to want to know that it's for someone who's willing to do the same amount of work and spend the same amount of time on them and their business, and that they are actually a legit, trustworthy business. I have a million other reasons why I'm an advocate for having your own website, but I'm going to just try to stay on track here, and maybe we can talk about that another day. If you don't have one and you want to build one, there are several platforms out there where you can just get it set up and create the website for really cheap and really easy just by using their templates. And you could do this all in one day. I personally use GoDaddy, and it's super user friendly. And if you're not a tech genius, it doesn't matter. It's so simple, you guys. Some other things that you can do is maybe just have a link tree, or you can use your Instagram and Facebook and put a link to your booking form on there. But at the very least, you need somewhere that you can put your link so that people can find it when your booking day comes around. The next thing that you're going to want to do is create your request form. This is where you're going to gather all the information that you need from your potential clients. And if you have a website, you can just use the website's contact form already included with most of these platforms. Although they're not super customizable, you can change the different questions and things, but you can't really change how it looks. Or I've had trouble in the past with image uploads on these. They may have improved since then, but you can also use a third-party platform, which is what I do. So I use Jotform, but you can use other platforms like Typeform, SurveyMonkey. There's honestly a ton of them, and I'm sure they all do similar things, but I personally use Jotform, and it's all I've ever tried, and I'm happy with it. So if it's not broken, why fix it, right? So besides being able to easily see all of my submissions and just make it like super fucking cute, I like the third-party platform because it makes it easy for me to just turn it on and off without having to change my entire website if I don't want to. We're going to get into that in a little bit. Lastly, for this step, you want to link your form. So once you set up your request form, whether by a third-party platform or through your website, you can link it directly to a printer, which is by far the best fucking part of all of this for me. I have my forms sent directly to my printer's email, which is a fancy thing that Epson printers do. I don't know. There must be a way to do this with other brand of printers. I've actually never used another brand, so I don't know. But your printer, you can create an email for your printer, so you can set it up so that your forms go directly to that email, and it will just print right out on your printer. It's awesome. So whenever a new submission comes in, it automatically prints out. And I do this for a few reasons. For one, I'm a very visual person, as I'm sure most of you are if you're artists, and I like to physically look at things and be able to sort through them. But I also like to physically write little notes on each one of the submissions to help keep myself organized. Again, this is just what works for me. Some people hate having all the papers and it stresses them out, but either way, make sure you're also having them sent to a secondary email in case the printer gets jammed or it gets lost somewhere in the ether or just doesn't print out. You want to have that backup secondary email. And if you're just sending them to your email address, you may want to consider setting up a brand new email address that's only used for this purpose so that it doesn't get mixed up with a bunch of other, bullshit. Step number 2 is going to be making your process known. You can't expect everyone to just automatically know what the fuck you're doing and how to book with you. You have to train them first. And the way that you're going to do this is by explaining yourself, explaining your process. If you skip this step, you are at risk of losing your fucking mind. So do yourself a favor and spend the time on this one. It really cuts down on the amount of questions that you're going to get. You're going to need to post all of this info in detail about how booking with you is going to go. And this means social media posts, videos, stories, highlights, community groups, literally everywhere, emails. If you have an email list, this is what it's for. Send out several emails leading up to your booking day, explaining how the process works. Tell them in detail what to expect, how to do it, and that way there's no surprises for them. If you have a website, make sure all your info is clearly stated there on what's going to happen, when booking day is. You can put a nice countdown on there so people can check back and see, oh, okay, 5 more days till booking day. And that it keeps reminding them to set an alarm or set a reminder or what have you. When your booking day comes around, on your actual booking day, you want to make it known. Publish your updated website with the live booking link, and enable your booking form, send out your emails, post your link everywhere, host to social media. Again, be annoying, be in their faces. You only feel like you're annoying. The truth is that most of your followers are probably not even seeing this the first time, so you have to be repetitive. And I'm willing to bet that you'll do this and you'll feel like you're being obnoxious, and you'll still get someone messaging you saying, damn, I missed your booking day. It never fucking fails. It's like, how did you miss it? Because I have literally been posting about this for 6 weeks, and today alone I posted 4 times about it, and it never fails. There's always somebody who misses it, and you have to just keep posting about it if you want to get all of the requests that you're going to get. It's frustrating, I know, but this is why we tell them way ahead what the date is and remind them often leading up to it. I also like to, during booking day, give updates throughout the day, like, oh my God, I'm getting so many cool requests. Like, thank you for your requests so far, you guys. Like, here's my stack. And I like to physically show, like, oh my God, I got all these requests. So then people who are like maybe they set a reminder and they snoozed it and they're going to get to it later and they forgot. They're like, oh shit, I have to put my request. Like, oh my God, she's got all those requests already. I have to get mine in or she's not going to pick me. So I like to keep updating throughout the day, like in my stories. So the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to start sorting through your requests. So as the requests come in, I'm kind of sorting them into piles of yes, no, maybe. If you aren't working with physical papers, you might want to create folders in your email box for sorting. But the longer I do this, the smaller my no pile gets. And it's because people know what I like to do and what I don't like to do. I'm very upfront about this. I'm very vocal about this on my posts, which is good and bad. So having less in the no pile means that there's less people I have to give bad news to, because I do like to respond to every request, even if it's a no. But having more in the yes pile usually means that I still have to turn down some projects that I actually want to do. And that's a bummer, because there just isn't enough time for all of them. It's a good problem to have, but it can be tough to decide. So my hope for you is by learning my booking process that you'll start to be able to curate your schedule towards doing only projects that you're excited about and that you really want to do. This will take more than just changing your booking process, but it's really a great place to start. Because of this, I usually want to wait until the form is closed before I start reaching out to people. Unless there's something in there that's like, oh, fuck yes, I really want to do this. Then I'm going to schedule those people immediately. Otherwise, I'm waiting until all the requests are in, my form is closed, and I can go through everything and really prioritize my favorite ideas. In the past, I've been like overly excited to book the cool ideas, and then I get to the end and there's a really, really cool idea and their availability sucks, and I've already booked the only days that they're available, and I've really fucked myself on that one. So now I try to just calm down, be patient, and just wait, which is hard, but I'll wait till the form is closed before I even start reaching out to people. And usually I try to start the following day, but if I'm really excited or I have stuff to do the following day, I might start messaging people that night, especially if there's things that I'm super stoked on. The great thing about having the forms printed out is I can write notes on each one to kind of speed up the process. Some of the most important notes I make are an estimate of how long it's going to take me. I circle key points that I might need to consider about the idea, like are they working in an area that has other tattoos, or is it a cover up, or is there size restrictions or anything like that. I want to make sure that I'm noting all of those things. And then I'm writing what their preferred days are. These notes help to streamline the process and make everything go super smoothly when I sit down to actually contact everybody. So step 3 is the actual scheduling. Before you even get into contacting and scheduling people, you want to get set up for super quick and easy messaging. I personally prefer to just text people. Some people like email. That's my absolute nightmare, but you do you. If I notice that if I'm texting people that they are responding way faster than email. So I just get it knocked out with text message. I don't care if people have my phone number because I can literally not answer them if I don't want to. No one has ever I won't say never. Okay. Most people are not abusing my phone number and texting me. And if they do, if they're texting me inappropriately, or it's not, I'm trying to enjoy my day off, or I'm with my family or something, I just fucking ignore it because this is my personal phone and they should know better. And they're not going to get offended if I'm 3 days later, hey, sorry, you messaged me on my day off. What's up? But I do like for people to have my number so that if there is an emergency or there is something wrong, they can message me and I can respond right away. Anyway, back to getting set up. Another option, if you don't want to have people texting your actual phone number, is Google Voice, which you can text through. So it's just through the Google Suite. You can have your own phone number for that, and you have a record of the text messages back and forth. I think there is an app, or you can do it through your phone if you wanted. I think you can also have it forwarded to your phone, so they don't have your actual phone number, but you're still getting the messages to your phone. But either way, whichever way you choose to do this, with its email or text or whatever, get set up with basic shortcuts and templates. So you can do this through your phone. I have iPhone personally, so if you go into your settings in iPhone, into your keyboard, you can create little shortcuts where you're just typing a couple letters and it will spit out a whole paragraph. So every single step of this process, I have a template or a shortcut in my phone. So I'm saying the same things to everyone every time I text them. And this actually started back in COVID when I was messaging those 200 plus people, because I was like, oh my God, I'm saying the same fucking thing over and over again. And I was copy pasting, changing their name. And it was why am I doing all of this work when I could just save this? And I think back then I didn't realize that you could do this shortcut thing in your phone, but I actually saved them in notes. So if you have Android and that's not a thing that Android does, I literally have no idea what Android does. You should get an iPhone, but so you could probably save it in your notes app or something and just copy paste like that. But if you have the shortcuts, it's super easy. And you can do the same thing with email templates. You can just have your little sections of your conversation all printed out and easy for you to copy paste. And now that I have all of these shortcuts documented, I have now created a system, and it's something that if I wanted to in the future, I could pass off to someone else to do for me. And at the time of this recording, I still do all of my own bookings because I just like to. I kind of want to have those conversations with my clients myself. But I have in the past had my assistant book appointments for me, which she did completely flawlessly. I went through and picked all the tattoos that I wanted to do. I wrote my notes on there, how long of an appointment they would need for it. And, if I needed more information from them, I noted that, whatever notes I needed to put on there so that she could do the same thing that I'm doing. So if you have it all documented, you have your whole process and your whole system, saved in documents and shortcuts and templates. It's so easy to just hand this off to somebody else. And I know a lot of people hold on to that, no one could do this the way that I do it. And it's just not true, you guys. It really isn't. If you can train them properly, literally anyone could do it. I mean, within reason, it has to be the right person, and you would go through your whole hiring process, finding the right person. But I'm saying it's possible. It's not something that you have to do forever if you don't want to. So I had my assistant do it in the past, and I really kind of just felt disconnected from my clients because of it. So I went back to just doing it myself. But if I ever got to the point in the future where I'm valuing that time over that need to feel this connection, that's always going to be an option for me, because I know she can handle it, and she did it well and had no issues with it. She did not double book one person. Not one person felt like they weren't responded to. And I think she handled it fantastically. And now that I'm saying all this out loud, I'm like, why am I doing this myself? Anyway, but this is great for a few reasons to have all of these templates. For one, consistency. So whether I'm the one who's reaching out to schedule or if it's my assistant, I know that my clients are getting the same exact experience when booking, because I've created these templates and scripts that I'm using every time. Number two, I know that there are no steps being missed, and all of the important information that I need to convey is being shared every single time. So I'm letting them know what my booking policies are. I'm letting them know what to expect of me, when I'm going to reach out to get more information about their tattoo, when I'm going to be drawing, when they get to see their design. All of that I go over in my templates, in my scripts. Number three, their expectations are set. They know all the rules, and all of this only takes a few minutes to set up and even less time to send to the client once they're done. And it's all handled, and nothing is skipped. Nothing is going to be missed. I know for sure everything was done the right way. If you're sitting there, every single person that you're texting, you're thinking like you're trying to pull from thin air what you're supposed to say and trying to remember all of the things that you need to cover, you're going to inevitably miss something. So the next step in scheduling is going to be organization. And I know that you artists out there hate this word and it's scary, but when I sit down to schedule people, I'm messaging everyone all at once, which sounds nuts, right? And this can easily turn into a huge fucking mess. And I've just learned over time that if you're not organized, you're going to make a mess of things. So scheduling this amount of people definitely requires focus and a solid organization system. So how do I do this? Again, you can find your own way, whatever suits you best, but the idea and the steps are going to stay pretty much the same if you don't want to fuck this up. So if you're not paying attention, if you're multitasking, come back to me, listen to this part. This part is so important. If you want to get it all done in mostly one day without mistakes, this is how you do it. So I rapid fire text. I will send out 10 to 20 texts all in a row with their prospective dates and times. My first message is letting them know I love their idea, and then I give them a date and time, because my form was so efficient and so informative that I know exactly which days and times they're available, and I can tell them my first available date that works for them with what they said. And 9 out of 10 times it works for them, and there's no back and forth finding a date. So I'm saying, hey, I would love to do this idea. I always use their name too. So there's I put like a space in there in my template where it's like, hey, asterisk, and I erase whatever it says and put their name in. So hey, Renee, I love your idea. I'd love to do that for you. My first available date that works with your schedule is this day, this time. Does that work for you? That's all I'm saying. I'm like assigning them a date. Like 9 times out of 10, they don't have a problem with it. It works for their schedule. Every once in a while, someone will be like, that one doesn't work. And I'll find like the second choice is usually the one. Before I hit send on this text message, I am writing on their form the date that I gave them. I'm also putting their appointment in my schedule before I hit send, because if I don't do this, I will inevitably forget and try to offer this date to someone else, which is why this is so important. The whole point is to not double book people, right? So how do I know who accepted and who didn't if I'm putting everyone in my schedule? I'm a fucking nerd and I color code everything. So it's literally the only way. I have a specific color for each step of my process so that I can look at my schedule and see the exact status of every single client's appointment. So offered, accepted, deposit received, booking agreement, signed, confirmed. So I can look at a glance at my week ahead and see what's going on, what stage we're at. So hopefully your calendar allows for this type of thing, but if not, check out the program that I use. It's called Mana Scheduler. I think that's how you say it. Mana, I don't know, MANA Scheduler. That's what I've used for the past 8 years, and it's made by tattoo artists for tattoo artists, and they're super responsive. Literally anytime I've ever had an idea on how to make it better, they immediately respond, and I've even seen them put my ideas to work in the same week, which is so cool. Like, what companies out there are listening to your feedback and actually making changes that work better for you and for their program? Like, that's unheard of. But that's the great thing about smaller companies like this. But like I said, I've been with them for 8 years and they're not going anywhere, and they are super responsive, and I love this program. And you can color code all of your appointments. So I'm able to go back through and see who hasn't accepted the date and who hasn't set a deposit, and it keeps me moving through the requests. I don't wait for a response before I move on to texting the next person either. So it's also kind of like training them to respond immediately, or they're not going to get their preferred dates. So I usually give about 24 hours, which I hate waiting around 24 hours because that's a long time to hold up a spot when I'm trying to just like get it all done in a day. But I give them about a day to respond because some people work nights or whatever. 24 hours, if they haven't even texted me back, I take them off and I offer that date to somebody else. If they respond after that point, then they just get whatever is left over. And if I'm already finished booking the 3 months, I just have to let them know, like, I'm all booked up now. Sorry, I didn't hear back from you. And I can put them on my cancel list, or I can let them know when my next booking day is, which, by the way, you should always know what your next booking day is going to be. You don't want to leave anyone with a dead end. So if I'm booking out 3 months, so say I'm booked through the end of June, I want to do my booking day at the beginning of June. This is just how I do it. You could do earlier than that, whatever. But I like to be at least a month out from what I'm booking. So my next booking day for real life right now, June 8th. And so June 8th, I'm booking July, August, September. So before June 8th, I need to pick my new booking day, which is going to be somewhere at the beginning of September. So I have to pick like a Sunday. So I'll have that next date in mind. So after June 8th, or actually on June 8th, whenever I go through and schedule everybody, anyone that's left over that I really want to do their tattoo but just ran out of time, I can say, hey, my next booking day is this date. Anyone who missed booking day, it's going to say immediately on the website, we're going to post it everywhere, like, sorry you missed booking day. The next one is September, blah, blah, blah. So always have that in mind. Don't leave any dead ends. So speaking of the aftermath and going through all of the leftovers, on the request form, I'm asking if the client is open to another artist taking on their project if I'm not able to, or it's not something that is aligned with what I'm currently working on. So if they marked that they are okay with another artist taking it on and my coworkers aren't booked or they're taking appointments, I'm going to pass this along to the artist who's most closely matched with the style or the idea. Or I'm going to see if we have any future guest artists that are coming up that would be perfect for the idea, and I'm going to pass it along to them. If it's a yes and I ran out of time, I'm just going to tell them that. If it's a no, I let them know. I don't like to leave people hanging, and I always try to respond, even if it's bad news. And it's so hard to tell somebody that you don't like their idea or it's not going to work. But I think that being honest and educating people is really important, because imagine that was you. And you put in a request, you're really excited, you really want to get tattooed by this person, and you just never hear anything. You don't get a yes, you don't get a no, you don't get a reason, you just get nothing. And it feels shitty. It feels really shitty. I can tell you from experience, not a great feeling. I want to know, what can I do next time to get the appointment? Like, what did I miss? Like, why is this idea not one that you're taking, or whatever the reason? Just tell me so that I can change my idea or think of something else or whatever, so that I can get in next time. Me personally, like, I don't get my feelings hurt very easily. So that to me is just feedback that I'm going to use to get what I want later. Maybe some people will get their feelings hurt, but it is what it is. But I think it's always better to communicate than to just fucking ghost somebody. So I'm letting them know why I'm not taking the idea in the nicest way possible. And if I can refer them to someone else who does that style, like say it's somebody who wants like, I don't know, like black work sleeve. Like no one at our shop really does that. But I have friends who do. And I have friends that are like within a couple hours of our area that do that stuff. And I'm going to say, hey, this isn't what I do, but my buddy loves this shit. Like he lives for this and you should go see him. He's going to do a great job on this. You know, I'm never ever referring them to someone who would do a bad job, because they're going to remember if you send them somewhere and they get a good tattoo, and they're also going to remember if you send them somewhere and they get a bad tattoo, and they're going to be like, that bitch sent me to someone who fucked me up. It's her fault. You know, they might not even blame the tattoo artist who did it. They'll blame me, you know? So you want to make sure that even if you're not the person giving them the tattoo and it's not anyone in your shop, at least take care of them. Make sure they're going to someone who is going to do a good job. And if it's something that's just not tattooable, take the time to educate them. Like, hey, this isn't a tattooable image, and here's why. And here's some suggestions on how you can make this better so that it is tattooable. Or here's some ideas for a similar idea that will work as a tattoo. So think about this, get some ideas together, like based off of this information, and we'll see you next booking day. People are generally understanding and appreciate the human interaction and the explanation. And I rarely have anyone get angry with me for turning them down. Like, I think since I've been doing this process, I think I've maybe had 2 people upset with me. And it's like, okay, well, maybe this wasn't a good fit to begin with if you're getting this upset because I'm not doing your tattoo. But also, I'm going to rant for 1 second here. It does not make sense to me for someone to get angry if it's not something that you want to do or excited about. Like, I don't want someone to do my tattoo if the whole time they're sitting there thinking, I fucking hate this. This is bullshit. I don't want to be doing this. Like, they want to be somewhere else. They fucking hate you, hate your idea. They hate their job in that moment. I don't want someone tattooing me with that mindset ever. So for someone to get mad that I'm not just doing it anyway, even though I hate it, just blows my mind. Anyway, every booking day gets a little bit better in a multitude of ways. So the buildup and excitement, because now I've trained my clients to know and understand my process. So it's easier and easier for them every time. So they're telling their friends, and they're, you know, whoever they're referring to me, they're saying, you should go to Missi, but here's how she does her booking. You're gonna have to wait for booking day. So mark this down. And like, they'll share with their friends and whoever they're referring, because for us, word of mouth is like our number one way that we're getting clients. They're sharing with them my booking process. So I don't even have to train these new people because my clients are doing it for me. So I've trained all of these potential clients to have accurate expectations of my process. And my questions on the intake form are also getting more and more efficient, which cuts out even more of the back and forth. So I've learned which questions I'm constantly asking. And, you know, some of the questions on there are not for everyone and they're not necessary for everyone, but I put them on there just in case, because I'd rather have too much information than not enough. And I've even like gotten it down to the point where it's like, okay, give me a description of your tattoo. Just give me the details. I don't need the backstory, because if you tell me all of that now, what are we going to talk about during your appointment? You know, I'm trying to cut down on the fucking entire life story, book to read, because if I'm getting like over 100 requests on this day, I am not going to want to read something that is like 3 pages long of them explaining why they're getting this tattoo, what it means to them. Like, I appreciate the stories and I appreciate all of that, but the request form is not the time for that. I just need to know basic details. Like, it's a dog portrait with some flowers, a toy, whatever. You know, I don't need to know like how your whole life history. So those are things that I've just added to my form over the years to make it more efficient for me and to work better for me on how I like to book things. And then this efficiency allows me to put more time and effort into making the interactions with these people more meaningful and intentional to give them a good overall experience. At the end of the day, I want people to say that the process was easy and the tattoo was worth the wait for them. This is what has worked for me over the past 5 years, and I don't think it's for everyone. Like I said, it's not the only way to do things. It's not the best way to do things. It's just how I do things. And I do hope that it helps you in some way. Even if you only take one part away from this to use in your own process, I'll be happy, because it kills me every time I see somebody post like, sorry, I haven't gotten back to emails. I'm going to work on those today, or I'm swamped with emails. Sorry, it's taking me so long to get back to everybody. I'm going to start messaging everybody to book today. I'll work on that a little bit today. And I'm just like, man, you guys, you're hurting yourself, like why take something and spread it out over like weeks and an entire month when you can just knock it out in one day? I don't know. That's just how I like to do things. The back and forth literally makes me insane. And this has been my way of escaping that craziness. So hopefully this helps you. Like I said, go check out my booking guide. If you want a written copy and a step-by-step of how to do all of this, go to boundbyart.com/booking guide. And also check out Mana Scheduler at Mana Scheduler, ManaScheduler. Wow, I feel like I'm in a spelling bee. .com. And check out their program, because like I said, it's awesome. It's made by tattoo artists for tattoo artists, and it's what I've been using for about 8 years now. Good luck, guys, and I'd love to hear your feedback and suggestions, and maybe even how you do your booking. So maybe it's something that you do that I could use to improve on my process. All right, guys, that's it for today's episode. I hope you're feeling inspired and ready to make some moves today. Remember, it's all about showing up, putting in the work, and staying true to yourself. If you got something out of today's episode, share it with a friend who might need to hear it, and make sure to subscribe so we can keep this momentum going. Get updates on all of our latest episodes, events, and more by following us on social media at Bound by Art Project, and by heading over to the website boundbyart.com. Thanks for hanging out and putting up with my shit. I'll see you next time. Now shut up, quit making excuses, and go get better.